So I want to talk about the oxymoronism, I guess, of INFJ-ness. I think INFJ is one of the biggest, like, contradictions, I guess you could say, where, and again, it does go in with like the function stack, with the J being more like orderly, the N being more, um, spotted, with the spontaneity and everything. Um, the fact that sometimes we can detach from our own feelings, but we can be very in tune with feelings in general, like with other people's feelings and with our feelings. Because when we get like into our feelings, we really get into our feelings. I don't know about you, but I can get into my feelings, but I don't like it. I think it's like we don't let the feelings rule us. I think that's a difference too. Um, so yeah, so it's just so interesting, just like how it can be totally opposite. Like, and that's why I think when a lot of people meet INFJs, they tend to have like this really like preconceived notion of who they are or what they really stand for. I remember somebody's when I first got this job, that I was working at, one of the managers was like, and I maybe worked there for maybe like a few weeks or so, and was getting introduced to somebody, and I remember she was like, "Oh yes, this is telling me who I." She's like, "She's very serious." I remember just thinking, like, really, like, oh, that's what you think of me, and it's just so funny because it's like other people who know me know, like, yes, I can be serious if I want to, but like as far as like who I am as a person, it's like, no, I'm not. So it's so interesting. And the thing is also that it's like as INFJs, we let people know what we want them to know, you know? It's like they think they know us, but they don't. So maybe that was the vibe that I was giving or putting out, at that time. And of course, like her being my manager, like there's going to be a certain side that you show to people in authority, versus like your friends. So that could have also played a factor. But it is very interesting because I've also read about different things about like how INFJs are attracted to danger, like spontaneity. They like to be spontaneous. Um, but we also like order as well. Like we like things done in order. Like when it comes to making plans, we like to know, like, okay, what is the plan? We like to know the game plan. We like to, so we can, I think it's more of us so we can prepare, to be in that environment or in that atmosphere, because sometimes if you're just thrown into something and you don't have an idea. But see, and even with that, even being spontaneous still has some type of planning involved. It's like, okay, we're going to go on a road trip. It's like you think that sounds spontaneous, but at the same time, it's not, because it's like, okay, we still know, like, this is what we're doing. It doesn't matter anything. I just needed the basic thing of like what's happening. But yes, I'm down for whatever. Like stuff like that. So it's so interesting how that goes like hand in hand, and even with the whole being like attracted to danger, like I have my nose pierced. I have like the nose ring up, but in some of my other videos you might have seen that. And pierce here, and I've done stuff, the fact that like my hair, different things like that, like and people may not think like that would be me, or like that's my, like, oh, you like I would be into that, or that's my style, or but then there's other people that are like, oh yeah, I know, like that's what you. So it's so interesting because people really think like, oh, you're just this quiet, and I think that happens even just with introverts in general. But, in particular with INFJs, it's like this, it really is like a one thing, and then there's another thing, depending, where I feel like with the INTJ, you know what you're getting with the INTJ, or like INTP, you kind of know what you're getting with them, or ISFJ, but with the INFJ, it's like, who am I going to get today? You know, and I'm not saying like as far as personality wise, but just more of like, just different things. And what was the other thing that I kind of read about? Yeah, like, yeah, again, attracted to danger, but conservative order. But we also like, we don't, like, we're not anal about stuff, but, and again, I think oh, and let me go back to, as far as the feelings, like, we can really close off our feelings if we want to. However, when our feelings are, I think that only happens when it's like in the beginning. Like if we have closed off our feelings to something or a situation from the beginning, or we never let you in to begin with. So if we never let you in to begin with, it's kind of easy to keep going that way. However, if we opened up to you, I think that's when it gets, you know, everything. It's open, like we get, emotionally attached and different things like that, or we get like the empathy and sympathy with other people, and we understand them. And I do think that too. It's like we really actually understand people to the core, not just I know. I remember it was actually a YouTuber that made this thing about like certain things that he I think it was certain things that he looks for in, like, anyway, but he was saying like he wants someone who knows, who doesn't just know facts about them, but who understands them. And I remember just being like, yo, like you basically summed up, I think, what all INFJs feel. Because it's like, you ever feel like you're talking with someone, and it can be somebody that you've known for a long time, and then they say something about you that's like, what? That's not me at all. Like, this whole time we've been friends, and that's what you think. And then it's like, no. And it's just like, what do you really know? And it's so interesting. Because, again, so it makes me think about, yes, knowing someone who actually knows you to the core or as a person versus like, oh, yeah, I know your favorite color. I know, like, how old you are. I know, like, what you want to do in your life. Oh, I'm sorry, my phone. I know what you want to do, with your life. But again, these are like things because I've told you, maybe, or like, again, you just know facts or you just memorize things, like, but it's nothing like, do you really understand who I am as a human being, as a person? What makes me me? So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and like, what ways have you felt like, maybe you feel, what are your stories about, the contradiction of INFJ? Because I really think it's interesting, and I read a quote that said, oh, let me see if I can find it because I'm really gonna see. Don't mind me, I'm on here looking. I might not find it. Ooh. Okay. You know what? I'm not sure if I can find it, but if I find it, I'm gonna show it later. But basically, it was saying how um, I can tell a lot about a person by what they think of me, and that determines like how I think about you or something like that. And I was like, yeah, that's really true, because there's things that I think sometimes we're really idealistic, that we tend to be like, we see the good in people. That's another contradiction with us. It's like we like to see the good in people because we are idealists. We fall under that category. um like, we root for the underdog. We always see the good in people, but then we also can be very cynical as well. So yeah, those are just some of the contradictions of being INFJ. And I'll keep this video at what it is right now. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.